Hello, ni hao. It has been 1 month since my first year final paper has ended, and I thought it would be a good time to share about my experience in NTU Computer Science. And also, I will be sharing with you how fun I think each module is. So, let's get into it. Introduction to Computational Thinking and Programming. This mod is split into 2 parts. The first half is taught using Python. Just like most programming classes, we start with Hello World, followed by things like flowchart, data types, if-else statements, loops, and all the basic knowledge you need for programming. The second half is much more interesting and is taught using C. We learn about pointers, array, character strings, structures, and recursive functions. If you already have a programming background, then this module should be a walk in the park for you. 8/10. Digital logic. This is a very logical module. It is very easy to understand. Everything is just 1 or 0. We have things like logic gate, digital arithmetics, finite state machine, and a lot more other things. We also learn about Verilog, which is a software for you to design and simulate logics for electronic circuits. This module have a lot of lab lesson, which is a good thing for hands-on practices, which is a very good way for us to learn. 7/10. Physics for computing. Can I not talk about this one? How can I explain our physics mod in a good way? Okay, I have nothing much to say about this. This is a pass or fail mod. It is impossible to fail, and it actually takes an effort to fail. 10/10. Mathematics 1. It is not as hard as what people say. It is actually pretty simple. We have things like vectors, complex numbers, matrices, limits, and also calculus. If you are good with math back in high school, then this mod shouldn't be too hard for you. But if you do not have any background in maths, then you are going to find this challenging. Discrete Math. This is way easier than those calculus bullshit in Maths 1. Discrete Math is like a fun version of math. We deal with things like predicate logics, proving techniques, set theory, graph theory, and many more other topics. In my opinion, Discrete Math is like pattern recognition with a bunch of constraints and logic together and a little bit of English. 8/10. Also, Professor Gary, best prof. Linear Algebra. This mod is pretty straightforward, like straight, forward, linear. First thing first, God bless you 3 Blue 1 Brown. His visual for linear transformation is amazing, and if you are going to be learning linear algebra, I highly recommend you watch this video. In linear algebra, we start off with basics like row echelon form and reduced row echelon form. Then we also have things like linear combination, span, basis, null space, Cartan space, eigenvalue, eigenvectors, and a lot more other topics. 7/10. Computer organization and architecture. This is a very important module where I learned that the code that we have been writing on our compiler gets translated into. On the first half of this module, we were introduced to low-level programming using assembly language where we learn how computer processors work. On the second half, we were taught more on the hardware side of things, like how a hard disk works, the transfer speed of the hard disk, virtual memory, cache. Overall, I feel like I gained a lot from this module. 8/10. Engineers in society. This mod is not too interesting. It teaches us that when we work as an engineer, we must have proper engineering ethics. We learn about what is right or wrong while working as an engineer, learn to do some calculated risks, try to think of all the possible factors that could cause harm to people. And we also learn about how the past engineers solve problems. Yeah, kinda insightful. 5/10. Data structure and algorithm. This is, if not the most important module in this course. We have fun things like big O notation, linked list, binary tree, stack and queue, hash table, graph, backtracking algorithm, and dynamic programming. For this module, I have one of the best professors in the whole school who loves to give hard questions for our assignment. For your reference, those questions are on par with LEED's code, medium to hard questions, which is a good thing because it forces our brain to work at its fullest potential to solve programming problems. 9/10. Introduction to Data Science and AI. This module only touches the surface of data science, like normal distribution, reading many different types of graphs, and some basic data analysis. We also do some simple prediction using linear regression and binary classification. For the AI part of this module, it's much more interesting. We start off with implementing different types of search to traverse through a maze, using breadth first search, uniform cost search, depth first search, and also we use informed search like greedy search and A-star search. We then move on to create a simple AI using the minimax algorithm to play tic-tac-toe. Overall, this module is very educational for people with no machine learning or AI background. 8/10. Everything that I have just said is just my opinion. I didn't go too in-depth into every module, or else it's going to be a 3-hour long video. And if you have made it this far into the video, thank you for that. Also, I may have plans for future NTU related contents, so